when society becomes a tool in the hands of a few usurpers. Good morning. This article was written by Alhaji Mohammed Otono, a public affairs analyst and mass communication lecturer, Federal Polytechnic, Auchi. My name is MC Mickey Mouse. Now listen. Society, by definition, is a collective agreement entered into by individuals for mutual protection, justice, and progress. It is the people's covenant that the weak shall be defended, the strong shall be restrained, and power shall serve and not enslave. However, history and contemporary experience reveal a disturbing reversal of this ideal. When vigilance fails, society ceases to be a shield for the many and instead becomes a tool in the hands of a few usurpers. These few politicians, oligarchs, and cabals capture public institutions, privatize commonwealth, and weaponize the collective will against the collective good. Usurpation rarely begins with a coup, it begins with influence. The first stage is the capture of information. The few who seek to control society do not burn books, they buy the pretty press. They do not kill journalists, they own the media houses. In Nigeria, this is evident when the state government establish radio stations that sing only their praises, while independent voices and branded opposition elements. Gradually, public discourse is filtered through private interest. The second stage is the monetization of loyalty. Poverty is deliberately sustained, not eradicated. A hungry electorate is a pitiable electorate. When a bag of rice of 5,000 naira can secure a vote, democracy becomes an auction and society becomes a commodity. The usurpers understand that a man who begs for the next meal cannot question how the state budget is spent. The third stage is institutional capture. The legislature that should check the executive becomes a rubber stamp. The judiciary that should interpret the law becomes extension of the ruler's will. The traditional council that should speak for the people begins to speak for the people on behalf of power. At this point, society is no longer governed, it is managed like a private estate. Three principal methods sustain this capture. First is division. Usurpers thrive when the people are fragmented along ethnic, religious, and communal lines. When the youth of Otu see the youth of Iluhua as rival, they will not unite to ask why the Fuga water project has been abandoned for over 10 years. Divide and rule remains the most profitable policy in the arsenal of usurpation. Second is fear. This set is criminalized and repackaged as hate speech, incitement, or threat to national security. Activists are arrested, journalists are detained, and the ordinary citizen learn to self-censor. A society that whisper cannot resist. Third is miseducation. When schools are underfunded and curriculum is depoliticized, citizens grow up knowing how to pass exam but not how to ask questions. They can recite the constitution but cannot recognize when it is being violated. An ignorant society is the most dependable tool in the hands of usurpers. The consequences of a captured society are profound and multi-dimensional. Politically, democracy is reduced to a ritual. Elections are held, but choices are absent. The people vote, but the few select. Economically, merit dies. Contracts are awarded not to the most competent, but to the most connected. The son of a nobody, though brilliant, watches the son of a somebody takes his place in the civil society, the leadership list, and the oil company. This breeds frustration and fuel the Jackpot syndrome among Nigeria youth. Socially, hope evaporates. When citizens believe that justice is for sale and leadership is inherited, they disengage. Apathy replaces activism. The next generation concludes that the only path to success is to join the cabal, not to challenge it. First, today's victims are groomed to become tomorrow's usurpers, and the circle continues. Reclaiming society demands cautious effort. First, there must be mass political education. Citizens must understand that a voter's card is not a gift from a politician, but a weapon of accountability. Town hall meeting, union congress like the Fuga Progressive Union, Auchi Progressive Union, Uzare, Agedebode Progressive Union, and so forth, and campus debate must become schools of civic consciousness. Second, accountability must be personalized. Impunity thrives in anonymity. If a local government chairman diverts fund for health center, his name must be published. If a commissioner abandons a road project, the community must write petition, not just complaints. Thus, truth is the only defense against labor, and truth is the sharpest tool for dismantling usurpation. Third, alternative institution must be built. When the official press is gagged, community radio and social media must speak. When the official union is compromised, pressure group must emerge. Power concede nothing without a demand, and demand are meaningless without organizations. Finally, society must remember the ephemerality of power. Sani Abacha was once feared as immortal. Mobutu Sese Seko rode in cover that stretched for miles. Today, their names are footnotes in the story of oppression. The usurpers of today will be the judgment of history tomorrow. A society in the hands of a few usurpers is a society of war with itself. It produces poverty in the midst of plenty, silence in the face of injustice, and despair where hope should live. Yet society is not inherited in two. It is the hand that should wield the tool. It is the craftsman, not the hammer. The moment the people recognize their collective strength, that no cabal can rule without consent, silence, or division, the balance of power shifts. The task before this generation, from local government, from Afema region to the federal level, is not to beg the few to be kind. It is to remind society that it holds itself. For when society wakes up, usurpers lose their sleep. Alhaji Otono Mohammed, political affairs analyst and journalist, lecturer, Federal Polytechnic, Auchi. This article reminds us that beyond complaints, we must write petition. That these usurpers are just few. These people who are oppressing us, who are working on our minds, they understand that a hungry electorate cannot question how the state's budget was spent. It's telling us that we should not just look at the power that be, looking at the local government chairman and say it is his turn. We have to ask questions. When we believe and know that he has embezzled the money made for a specific project, we should ask. We should rise and ask. Peradventure, the state-owned media houses has been seized and compromised. Then we independent voices, we need to rise. We need to take advantage of social media and speak up. Community should also establish platform through which people learn, through which people are well educated and build to that level where they can speak on public issues. We should not just fold our hands and watch the few usurpers enslaving us. Also, we should not beg them. We should know that the society is more than them. The society owns itself, not the usurpers that owns the society. I don't know what to make of this. As for me, I am chit-chat. I am encouraged. MC Mickey Mouse.